Learning to accept when someone tells you no. I'm Coach Kathleen with Phoenix Rising. What happens when someone tells you no? Maybe you ask someone for help. Maybe you invite a friend to spend time with you. Maybe you reach out because you need support, and the answer you receive is no. How do you react? Do you feel hurt, rejected, angry? Do you find yourself trying to convince them to change their mind? Do you push back, argue, or feel overwhelmed by emotions that seem bigger than the situation itself? If so, it's worth asking yourself a deeper question. Why does being told no affect me so strongly? For many people struggling with codependency, the answer has very little to do with the present moment and a lot to do with the past. So let's look at a simple example. Imagine your car is in the shop and you need a ride to the grocery store. You ask your neighbor for help and she says she can't do it. On the surface, the issue seems to be transportation. But if her answer triggers intense feelings of anger, sadness, panic, or rejection, then something deeper may be happening. The real wound may not be about getting groceries. It may be about not having your needs met as a child. Many codependents grew up in homes where emotional, physical, or relational needs were ignored, minimized, or inconsistently met. So as children, we depend on our caregivers for safety, support, and validation. When those needs go unmet repeatedly, we often develop deep beliefs that we are unimportant, unworthy, or somehow just too much. So when we asked for help and didn't receive it, we felt abandoned. When we expressed a need and were ridiculed or punished, we learned that our needs don't matter. When no one came through for us, we learned to stop asking. Many of us became fiercely independent. We learned to be strong, self-sufficient, and take care of everything ourselves. We stopped expecting support because depending on others felt unsafe. So when we finally do take the risk of asking for help and someone says no, it can touch a very old wound. The emotional reaction isn't just about today's situation. It's connected to years of unmet needs, disappointments, neglect, and hurt. The same thing can happen when we seek someone's time or attention. Maybe you ask a friend or romantic partner to have dinner with you, but they decline. A healthy person may feel a little disappointment and then they move on. But someone carrying unresolved childhood wounds may experience something much bigger. They may feel rejected, abandoned, unloved, unwanted, or unimportant. The mind unconsciously connects today's no to every other time they felt unseen or uncared for in the past. As a result, they may become angry, lash out, withdraw, guilt trip the other person, or try to manipulate them into changing their answer. Not because they're a bad person, but because they're reacting from an old wound. The problem is that our response often becomes disproportionate to the reality of the situation. The other person may have a completely valid reason for declining our request. They could be busy, overwhelmed, tired, or simply making a choice that is best for them. And the truth is, they don't owe us an explanation. Healthy adults are allowed to say no. They are allowed to set boundaries. And part of healing codependency is learning that someone else's no is not necessarily a rejection of us. It is not proof that we are unlovable. It is not evidence that we don't matter. It's simply another person exercising their right to make decisions for themselves. And as we heal, we learn to separate the present from the past. We learn to recognize when an old wound has been activated. We learn to sit with disappointment without turning it into rejection. And we learn that other people's boundaries are not personal attacks. So one of the clearest signs of recovery is being able to hear no and respond with grace, respect, and emotional maturity. Because when we can accept someone else's boundaries, we are allowing them the same freedom that we want for ourselves, the freedom to be who they are, to honor their own needs, and to make choices that are right for them. And that's what healthy relationships look like.